We began this on Friday at 11:23 a.m. We didn't know where it would take us. But what we've been buoyed by and heartened by is the response of the American people. And what they have said is thank you for leading. So I'm honored and privileged to stand with a group of leaders who understand and appreciate that the American people need their number one issue, which is increasing gas prices, addressed by the Congress of the United States. What we've done this morning is once again bring focus to that issue and give voice to the American people. That's what this is all about. We ask one simple thing of the Speaker of the House of Representatives: call Congress back and allow us to vote on American energy production for Americans. Mike Pence.
Thank you, Tom. Many reporters and many citizens have joined us for the first 3 hours of this week. There will be many more hours of this day and this week where our debate over energy independence will continue in a darkened chamber with no microphones and sadly no window to the broader American public through television or photography. But what heartens me as I hear speeches of the men and women gathered around me is that I know in my heart we are speaking and giving voice to the will of the overwhelming majority of the American people who want this Congress to return to Washington, D.C. and give the American people more access to American oil. I'm absolutely confident that if this Congress were brought back to Washington, D.C. and given an opportunity to vote on giving more access to the American people of American oil, that there is a bipartisan majority in the Congress that would pass that measure. I want to commend all of my colleagues for their passion, for their tenacity and their vision, and say that we are here now, we will continue to fight, we are going to stand our ground on behalf of millions of Americans who are tired of talk. They want to see Congress act to reduce our dependence on foreign oil.
I'm Peter Roskin from the 6th District of Illinois, and yesterday about 1 in the afternoon, my BlackBerry went off, and I was in my family room with my wife and read a message. There was a group that was going to be convening trying to drive this debate. And I really sense that we are at a tipping point in our country on this issue. And so my wife Elizabeth and I loaded up the minivan with our 4 children, just like the Griswolds, and we drove through the night. We got here at 3 this morning to be on the floor at 10 o'clock to join these men and women to stand up for this issue that is so important. And you sense the change that is happening in the debate. You sense the change that the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party, Senator Obama, is beginning to see the light on this. And we welcome him to see the light on this. And I think if we can continue to push, then ultimately the American people are going to be winners. Thank you.
Marilyn Musgrave from the 4th District of Colorado, and district you'll see a lot of wind turbines. You'll see a lot of activities in labs for research and development of biodiesel and other renewables and alternatives. It's poised to be one of the leading districts in the nation on renewables. But what you'll also see is a lot of oil and gas activity, especially in Weld County, where there's great agriculture going on and yet a lot of exploration. And I found it wonderful to be in the House today, the People's House, because there were actual citizens in that House of Representatives, because the Speaker has not allowed us to be in session. But as we stood there, person after person, talking about a full court press on energy in this nation, people were responding. And I believe people all over this nation will respond as we're asking the Speaker to call us back into session. She made history as the first woman Speaker in this country. She needs to make history today by calling this House back into session and letting us vote, bringing down the cost of energy for our working families in this nation.
Very good. Jeb Insling, the 5th District of Texas. On Friday, Speaker Pelosi turned out the lights in the People's House. Thanks to the leadership of Tom Price of Georgia and Mike Pence of of Indiana, Republicans came back on Monday and we turned the lights back on. Now we're in the midst of the Pelosi shutdown. She's shutting down the people's house. And if we're not careful, her energy policies will shut down the economic engine of America. Republicans are saying we will not allow that to happen. America is blessed with abundant energy resources. We are blessed to be the greatest democracy, the greatest deliberative body in the history of the nation. Those two blessings can come together right over there. Right over there. They can come together this week and we can produce more American energy for Americans in America now and help drive down the cost of gas. And I hope everybody in America will call the Speaker and say, Speaker Pelosi, if we can't afford to take our vacation, you in Congress shouldn't take theirs. Get back to work, make energy more affordable.
Jim Walker, Michigan.
Well, it is a major honor for me to stand here with my colleagues. Tomorrow is Michigan's primary election. I think there's probably nothing better that I could do than being here, speaking for my people in my district in the great motor capital of the world, Michigan, than speaking for this issue of energy. I was home this weekend after speaking on the floor Friday. That was an encouraging experience to see that though we had no speaker system, yet we had a voice. We had no microphones, yet we had a sounding chamber, an echo chamber of people. Real live government, i.e. the government of people, who could go out and speak. Last night at a county fair, a symphony concert, patriotic performance, kickoff, I had a lady come up to me after the performance and say, Congressman, I want to thank you and your colleagues for standing for us on the floor on Friday. She said, my husband and I just finished watching that video miniseries, John Adams. We're so impressed with patriots who are willing to speak up for the people at all costs themselves. She says, I'm not comparing this necessarily to what they did, but she says, I am comparing to what it did. Because you gave voice to what we're thinking. You gave voice to what we need. You've said to the Speaker of the House what we couldn't say as clearly, but now we know how to do it. Let the people vote. That's all we're asking. And so today I'm glad to be here. I can go home and vote later on tomorrow evening for myself. But today I want to vote for the people and say to the Speaker again, let your people vote.